Good morning, good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the topic that is the basal part of the skull. So, basal part of the skull, that is also known as the norma basalis. So, norma basalis, in order to study this norma basalis, the main bones which are taking part in this part, which is taking part in this region, that is the maxilla bone. The maxilla bone is lying over here. So, here we are going to see the alveolar process of the maxilla. Then we are having the plates, which are the horizontal plates, that are the palatine process of the maxillae. Then the posterior aspect is formed by the palatine bones, and these are the horizontal plates of the palatine. And posterior to this, in the midline, we are having a vomer. So here is present the vomer. Then posterior to the vomer over here, so here we are having the basi-occiput or basilar part of the occipital bone. So behind that we are having a foramen magnum, and here we are having the squamous part of the occipital bone. So these are the main bone. Then occipital bone and the sphenoidal bone, which is present over here. So here we are having the sphenoidal bone. Anterior to that, we are medial to the basi-occiput, we are having the body of the sphenoid bone, which is joined by a suture which is present in between these two. So here we are having the main things which are present, but how to learn the basilar part of the skull? So in order to study it in detail, we should divide, or we are going to divide this into three parts with the help of two horizontal imaginary lines. So first imaginary line, which is passing through behind the alveolar arc. So here is the behind the alveolar arc, or third or the last molar tooth, you can see. So this is the line, and some of the books, they are writing that this line is passing through the posterior margin of the hard palate. So here we are having the posterior margin of the hard palate. So here is present the first line. So first imaginary line, anterior to this region, we are having the anterior part of the base part of basal skull. Then the middle and the posterior, they are separating by the line which is passing just anterior margin of the foramen magnum. So these two lines, they are dividing the basal part of the skull into three regions. So anterior region is known as the anterior part of the basilar bone, basal of the skull, base of the skull. Then here we are having, in between these two lines, we are having the middle part, and posterior to this we are having the posterior part. So now we are going a bit in detail. So first we are having the anterior aspect, the anterior part. The anterior part is formed by the alveolar arch. So alveolar arch is nothing but the alveolar, it is present on the alveolar process of the maxillae. So it is arc like in shape, or horseshoe like in shape. So here is present the hard palate. The hard palate is formed anterior two-third with the help of the palatine process, which are coming from the maxilla. So these are the palatine process of the maxillae, which are forming anterior two-third of the hard palate, and posterior 1/3 of the hard palate is formed by the horizontal plates of the palatine bone. So in between these, anteriorly we are having a suture in between two maxillae, which is known as intermaxillary suture, and posterior to this we are having interpalatine suture, and there is a horizontal suture which is present between the palatine process of the maxilla and these horizontal plate of the palatine. So this is known as the palato-maxillary suture. So here is present palato-maxillary suture. These are two in number, right and the left. So anterior in the hard palate, that is a medial aspect, anteromedial aspect, we are having a fossa which is known as incisive fossa. So incisive fossa is bearing canal, or these canals are known as incisive canals, which are carrying the nerves and vessels. So here we are having incisive nerve and vessels over here. So posterolateral aspect, we are having the foramens. So these are the foramen. So this is the bigger foramen, which is known as the greater palatine foramen, which is accommodating greater palatine nerve and vessels. So greater nerve, palatine and palatine vessels and nerves, they are lying here, and here it is continue as a groove which is present here. So this groove is accommodating these greater palatine nerve and vessels, which are going here to the incisive fossa, and they are then continue in the lower part of the nasopharynx. So nasopharynx. So here we are having the lesser palatine foramen also. So here we are having the lesser palatine foramens, which are present just posterior aspect of this foramen. So here these are present. So lesser palatine nerves and vessels, they are present, they are passing through these. Then we are having the vomer, which is lying over here. So this is the vomer. So vomer is dividing the posterior nasal aperture into two nares. So these are the two nasal openings which are present, and these are separating upward with the help of vomer, and this on the inferior aspect of the vomer there is the attachment of the nasal septum. So nasal septum is present over here, bony part of the nasal septum, and posterior border of the vomer is providing the openings for the, that is posterior opening of the nasal apertures, which are present here. Then we are having the part which is the inferior, that is infratemporal fossa, which is present on both the side of the bone, which are mainly formed by the sphenoid bone. So sphenoid bone is forming this. So middle, just above the vomer, we are having body of the sphenoid bone, which is present in the midline, and here we are having the lower aspect of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. So sphenoid bone is given name because it is appear like the bat in its shape. So it is bat like in shape. So here we are having the inferior temporal fossa. So inferior temporal fossa is a pentagonal in shape. So some of the books, they are writing only 4 boundaries of this fossa. So we are having the boundaries to this fossa. First of all, we are having the anterior boundary. The anterior boundary is formed by the posterior margin of the inferior orbital fissure. So this is that boundary. So there is a medial boundary. So medial boundary is formed by the lateral aspect of the lateral pterygoid plate, where it is meeting with the body of where it is meeting with the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. So here is the posterior lateral margin. So posterior margin, so posterior medial margin is formed with the is bounded posteriorly with the petrous part of the temporal bone over here. So there is a posterior again we are having a posterior lateral. Here is posterior medial boundary, here we are having the posterior lateral boundary. So posterior lateral boundary is formed with the by the line which is in between the squamous part of temporal bone and the sphenoid bone. So here is the articulation between greater wing of sphenoid and the squamous part of the temporal bone. So anterior boundary, so anterolateral boundary you can say, here is the anterolateral boundary. Anterolateral boundary is formed by the infratemporal crest which is present here. So here is the temporal crest. So this is forming this boundary. So here we have discussed this. So main foramens which are also present on this aspect of the bone. So this is coming in the middle aspect. So middle aspect of the basal part of the skull is also containing the two pterygoid plates. So two pterygoid plates, they are coming from the inferior aspect of the greater wing of sphenoid bone, and where this greater wing of sphenoid bone is meeting with the body of the sphenoid bone, these are the projections. So these are the downward projection from the meeting point of greater wing of sphenoid and the body of the sphenoid. So these are two in number. So these are two projections which are plate like in shape. So one which is present on the lateral aspect is the lateral plate of pterygoid plate, plate, and here we are having the medial pterygoid plate. So medial pterygoid plate is present on the medial aspect, and these plates, they are fusing anteriorly with each other and they are forming a fossa. So here is present a fossa which is present here. So medial pterygoid plate is having two main features. So downward and medial projecting part from this plate which is projecting posterior also. So this part is known as hamulus. So here is the hamulus of the medial pterygoid plate. Then posterior border of the pterygoid plate is running downward, and again that is forming a fossa over here. So here is present a triangular fossa which is formed by the spreading out of the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate, which is known as scaphoid fossa. So here is present this scaphoid fossa. So this, and the lateral plate of the pterygoid plate is containing projecting the posterior border posteriorly, and there is a projecting point which is projecting laterally and posteriorly. This point is also known as pyramid, which is written in some of the books as pyramid. And lateral pterygoid plate is again containing two surfaces. One is the medial surface and another is the lateral surface. So there are two surfaces for both the plates. Medial pterygoid is also containing these two surfaces which are separated by the posterior border, and anteriorly these two plates, they are joined to the joined with each other, and they are joining with each other on the posterior aspect of the last molar tooth. So then we are having the bone which is present on the posterior to this, that is the bone which is known as basilar part of the occiput. So basilar part of the occipital bone, which is also a bar like in shape. So here it is meeting with the body of the sphenoid bone and they are continue as the bar. So in between occipital and the sphenoidal part, we are having a bone which is the part of the temporal bone which is irregular in shape, or you can say rock like part. This part is known as the petrous part of the temporal bone. So here is present the petrous part of temporal bone. So petrous part of the temporal bone is having two aspects. The posterior aspect is known as base and anterior is known as apex, and this bone is also having pyramid like in shape, hence it is having four borders, and here we are having the inferior border over here which is present here. So this is petrous part of the temporal bone, you can say. So petrous part of the temporal bone is present here. Then here we are having anterior to the middle aspect of this petrous part of temporal bone, here we are having the spinous process. So spinous process is the process which is projecting from the greater wing of sphenoid bone, and some of the book they are writing that this is also having some of its contribution from the petrous part of temporal bone. So some of the book writing that some of the authors they are writing that it is formed by the two bones. Then here we are having one more process which is a process which is directing downward, medially and forward. So this process is known as styloid process because it is very pin like process which is projecting here, and this is also arising from the temporal bone. So it is also the process which is coming out of temporal bone, and lateral to this, so posterolateral aspect to this process, here we are having the mammillary gland like process which is known as the mastoid process. The word itself is suggesting the name of this process. So between these two we are having some features will be discussed later on. So here we are having a part, another part of the temporal bone which is known as the tympanic part of the temporal bone. So here we are having the tympanic part of the temporal bone which is present here. So this one is the tympanic part of the temporal bone. So then we are moving towards the posterior aspect, the third part which is known as the basal, third part of the basal skull. So third part is including the, in here we are having a tubercle which is known as the pharyngeal tubercle. Then it is having two condyles over here which are articulating with the first cervical bone vertebrae which is known as atlas. So here they are forming the atlantoaxial joint over there. Then in here we are having a foramen magnum. Then here we are having a crest we are present here which is known as the posterior occipital crest over here. Then here we are having the occipital protuberance which is known as posterior occipital protuberance over here. Then here we are having the transverse lines which are coming. So then now we are talking about the foramen also. So now we are going towards the foramen. First we have discussed here the incisive fossa. So incisive fossa is containing the nerves and vessels over here. So here we are having the nasopalatine nerves and vessels, then greater palatine nerves, they are coming from the greater palatine foramen, and lesser coming from the lesser palatine foramen. So here we are having on this region, so that is greater wing of sphenoid bone. This part is containing some foramen. So here we are having the oval shaped foramen. The oval shaped foramen is known as foramen ovale, as its shape is like oval like in shape. Then here we are having a foramen which is present just anteromedial to the spine of the scaphoid bone, so which is known as the spinous process. So this foramen is known as foramen spinosum. So here we are having this foramen spinosum, and sometimes the foramen, then again we are having present a foramen over here between this spinous, and here we are having a sometime between spinous and foramen ovale we are having a foramen, so which is known as foramen basalius. So emissary vein sometime coming from this foramen, and here we are having another foramen which is known as the innominatus canaliculus. So innominatus canaliculus is present between scaphoid fossa and the foramen ovale. So here we are having this foramen which is present here. So this foramen is present over here between the foramen ovale and the scaphoid foramen. And on the apical part of the petrous temporal bone we are having a lacerated foramen with irregular shape, so irregular boundaries. So this name is given as the foramen lacerum. So foramen lacerum is the name given only because of that. Then here we are having in between the border of the scaphoid bone and the petrous temporal bone we are having a groove. So here is the groove which is known as sulci tubi. So sulci tubi is accommodating the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. So cartilaginous part of the auditory tube is accommodated by this region of the skull. So here we are having this part. Then on the middle aspect, just behind the apex of the petrous part, it is accommodating a canal which is known as the carotid canal. So carotid canal, and the posterior to the carotid canal we are having a foramen. So here we are having the foramen which is known as jugular foramen. So jugular foramen is again formed by two bones. The posterior aspect is formed by the jugular tubercle, and the anterior aspect is formed by the petrous part of the temporal bone. You can say here is present. So this jugular foramen is again is having a jugular fossa over here. Here is present a jugular fossa. So jugular fossa is lying anterior to the jugular foramen, and posterior aspect is known as the jugular foramen. The jugular foramen again is divided into three parts: anterior, middle and posterior, which would be discussed later on. Then here in between styloid process and the mastoid process we are having a foramen or canal which is elongated, that is why its name is canal. This is stylomastoid canal. So here we are having this stylomastoid canal. Then there is a foramen which is present just inferior to the anterior superior to this condyle. So this is known as the hypoglossal canal. So this is also known as anterior condylar canal. Then here we are having the posterior condylar canal also. So these are the anterior is hypoglossal canal and posterior is the condylar canal or posterior condylar canal. Then here we are having margin of the that is foramen magnum. Now we are coming towards the main structure which is seen, which we have left, that is the zygomatic arch, that is inferior aspect of the zygomatic arch. Then we are having a temporal fossa. So temporal, here we are having the mandibular fossa, the mandibular fossa is accommodating head of condyle of the mandible. So head of the condyle of the mandible, which is articulating over here, and posterior to that there is lying a glenoid tubercle, and anterior to this we are having a mandibular tubercle which is present here. So again it is having two root, one is going like this and one is here. So these are the meeting point over here is known as zygoma. So zygoma and its two roots, they are present like this. Then here in this region, this bone is, the posterior aspect is formed by the tympanic bone and anterior aspect is formed by the squamous bone. So this fissure is known as squamotympanic fissure, but there is the downward projection of the tegmen tympani which is impinging between these these bone, and that is dividing this fissure or this groove into two parts. The anterior one is that is squamotympanic fissure, and petrosquamous fissure, and posterior one is the petrotympanic fissure. So that is how it is divided here. So this is groove which is present here. So this groove is impinged by the downward process of the tegmen tympani, and which is dividing this groove into two parts, which is hardly seen in the skull. So here it might be appreciated, which is present like this. So here we are having a external acoustic meatus which is present here. So here we are having the external acoustic meatus, the anterior part of which is formed by the squamous part of tympanic bone, and downward we are having the tympanic bone. So here we are having the posteriorly we are having the mastoid process. So with this we are having this we have so we are left with one more thing which is present here. So here we are having the canals which are hardly seen or appreciated. So here on the medial aspect we are having the vomerovaginal canal, and on the lateral aspect we are having the palatovaginal canal. So palatovaginal canal is present here. So here we are having the vomerovaginal canal. So these are present here. So pharyngeal nerves and vessels, they are passing through these canals. So pharyngeal vessels which are coming from the pterygopalatine fossa or pterygopalatine ganglion which is present there. So they are carrying the parasympathetic nerves to the glands which are present on this pharyngeal region. So with this we have stop our topic over here. So